So I woke up this morning and I got a message with a video in it that someone made. And lately people have been attacking my testimony. And it's kind of interesting to me because the guy that's attacking my testimony, he doesn't have a testimony of his own up. And basically from what I can see on his channel is that he found the Lord by getting really, really high, smoking weed, and then playing the flute and meditating. And then God came to him and told him that Satan is changing the Bible, and if people don't see this, then they don't know the truth. So that's what I can understand from his testimony, but he wants to sit there and say that I was making God a deal or giving him an ultimatum or something. That wasn't the case. These people act like they know my heart in that situation. When I was 14, my mom handed me a loaded gun, told me I was a mistake, asked me to fix her mistake and kill myself. At a situation where it was pretty detrimental at that young of an age, 14 years old, and having something happen to you like that. It messes you up. And I had issue with demons coming in, telling me a bunch of lies, telling me that God wanted nothing to do with me. And I believed it. I left my house at a young age, and I was living with a bunch of different people, but the people I was living with, the people that were kind enough to open the doors for me, they were always either witches or Satanists. Christians always showed me hate for some reason. But when the Lord called me in, I wasn't giving him an ultimatum. My life was full of demonic torment. At age 17, I was diagnosed with PTSD. And I was diagnosed with PTSD because of demonic torment. My PTSD came from demonic torment. And I had weird triggers. I couldn't be in a room alone at night that had a stuffed animal in it. I'd have a panic attack. Couldn't drink Blue Mountain Dew. I'd have a panic attack. Just weird, simple things set me off. And I had PTSD to a point where I'd have audible and visual hallucinations. And ever since the Lord called me in, I don't have those things anymore. But when the Lord was drawing me in, I had a huge desire for him. And I was surrounded by pretty much a legion of demons telling me that God didn't want nothing to do with me, that I was hopeless, that I should just kill myself. And that's what my heart was. God was drawing me in, and he gave me a desire for him, and that desire was so huge to overcome all these voices of the enemy and to just run to him through it all. And it's really hard to explain in all honesty, but with everything that was going on in my life, the demonic attacks, torment, losing my son, I was in a place where I didn't want to live anymore. And I honestly, genuinely thought that God wanted nothing to do with me. So what I said was true. It wasn't my intention to give God an ultimatum. It wasn't my intention to try to strike a deal with him. But I was at a point where I was done. And the Lord was drawing me in, and these demons were trying to rip me away. And I just came to a point where I said, okay, Lord, I don't want my life anymore. And if you don't want me, I don't want me. It's that simple. But he showed me he did want me. He gave me life. But it wasn't my heart to give an ultimatum like, you do this, or else I'm going to do this. It wasn't that. It's just, I'm done. I don't want this anymore. If you want it, you can have it. But I don't want it. I want you. That's all I want. And if you don't want me, then I don't want this. I got to a point where I knew that I couldn't continue living the life I was living because it was nothing but torment, nothing but anger and hatred. And the Lord set me free. I no longer have my PTSD attacks. I no longer have demonic attacks. He convicted me, turned me away from my sin. The way I was living before, I don't live that way anymore. I mean, you guys can sit here and say that I gave God an ultimatum. No, I gave him my heart. And my heart was him or nothing. I was completely prepared to go to hell. I accepted that. For my whole life, that's where I thought I was going. That's all I thought I was worth, was hell. The Lord showed me that he sees me differently. I wasn't giving him an ultimatum. I wasn't trying to strike a deal. I didn't want my life. I didn't. And I was being honest with him. And I gave him my heart. I said, I don't want this anymore. If you want it, take it. But if not, I'm done. That's not striking a deal. That's just being honest. That's where I was. Surrounded by demons, telling me God doesn't want nothing to do with me. You're wasting your time. And I didn't know. I didn't know if I was or not. But you guys need to stop acting like you know my heart. Because you don't. And now, Thick Shades, if you want to attack my testimony and attack other people's testimonies and make these videos making fun of testimonies, why don't you put up a testimony of your own? Because you never have. Like I said, the only closest thing you have to a testimony is you smoking weed, playing your flute, and meditating. And that's how I believe that you found God, because that's what's in your videos, dude. You don't have a testimony out, and you attack everyone else's testimony. May the Lord be with his children. God bless.